So, you're not shocked to hear that I wasn't faithful to my husband?
No.
You know me so well.
Oh, I don't judge you.
Well, yes, but I think you do.
Well, I try not to judge other people.
And are you curious about my lover?
Lover? I would have thought lovers.
Certainly lovers, in the plural. But there was an initial lover only last winter.
Only last winter?
Why do you seem so surprised?
Oh, when your husband was dying then.
He was dying for 18 months.
Oh, dying for 18 months.
You can't comprehend it, can you?
I can't comprehend it. So, while he was dying, you became involved with another man.
You sound forbidding. You are passing judgment.
Well, didn't you know Arthur? Couldn't he have guessed even then?
I think he must have known. I used to close the door to his hospital room and cry, and he tried to comfort me, all but forgave me.
Oh, could he forgive you, really? God, I don't think David would have.
David was different. David was so much younger.
Well, David would never have forgiven me. It would have been the end of our marriage.
Do you ever imagine, Beatrice, that David is present? I mean, right now? Surely you must have the feeling that he wants to contact you.
I don't know what you mean.
Don't be coy. You know what I mean. Late at night, for instance, in bed, doesn't he return to you? Doesn't he return to you from the other world?
There is no other world, Moira. You know that very well.
That book I lent you last week.
Oh, that. You can't believe such testimonials.
Just what Arthur would say, so flatly and so smugly.
Voices from the dead, dreams that predict the future?
But David had a dream that predicted his death. Or, I mean, a dream that appeared to predict it.
What dream?
Didn't he?
What are you talking about?
I thought you told me that.
A dream of David's? I don't remember. What do you mean? What dream?
He must have told me himself.
When?
Well, it must have been last spring. We only talked for a few minutes. It was one of those peculiar conversations that are extremely intense. After his lecture on Africa, when I came forward to congratulate him, I told you.
Oh, yes, but you talked about dreams?
I don't remember the details. It's all quite vague. He happened to mention a very odd dream. I think the connection was with an African folk tale or custom. There was some connection. I really can't remember.
But there isn't any other world.
But if there is, it's right here with us. Right, Miss Sometimes.
Oh, you're only joking.
Only joking. Oh, I've never understood that. Arthur often said, "But you're only joking." As if it didn't count. As if people don't feel as much pain joking. But, in any case, the other world doesn't exist, Beatrice. The other world where our husbands are patiently waiting for us.
Exists, Moira?
The last time I visited the cemetery, I was so bored. I hiked about in my boots, feeling virtuous. It was quite cold. No one was around. And I couldn't think of a single thing to say. Arthur was being so sullen, so stubborn. I wish you had come along. He used to like you. He greatly admired attractive women of a certain type. He would have been, well, more receptive. Anyway, my attention was drawn to all the grave blankets in the cemetery. Arthur didn't have one, of course, but many others did.
Grave blankets?
Grave blankets. About 7 feet long. Like blankets, actually. You spread them over the grave. They're warm, they're protective for the cold winter months.
I'm an imposter.
What are you saying?
I'm an imposter, Moira. I didn't love him enough.
Not enough?
Not enough.
Don't be silly. He adored you. What are you talking about?
I didn't love him enough to keep him.
Oh, then we're all guilty, aren't we? You know he did adore you. He talked of you often.
We quarreled. Oh, he had a temper. He said I was too dependent, too inquisitive. And I began to scream once, and he pushed me. It was almost an accident. He pushed me, and he struck me. And afterward, he was so frightened, so tender.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He struck you.
Yeah, we wept together afterward because he'd been so angry. It frightened him. He did say, yeah, he did say he loved me.
Of course he loved you. But he had so much energy, so much ambition. He didn't want to stay in Manitok.
We wept together afterward, and, of course, he was so apologetic and so tender, and of course I forgave him.
Of course you forgave him.
But there were other quarrels. You and Arthur, you were so different. The two of you shared such suffering and pain. You stayed at his bedside for months. You nursed him. It's an experience I can't even imagine. David, he died so quickly.
Yes, it's hard to imagine.
When people see me, they think the senseless, stupid accent to catastrophe, no dignity, no time for preparation. To die like that, hit broadside by an 18-year-old boy, what silly bad luck. A matter of timing. The sickening impact of metal on metal, the smashed bodies, the broken faces, the blood, the gasoline, the oil, the shattered glass, the stench of it. Out there on the highway, one mangled body is just like another.
You sound so angry.